Now, when we're looking at the CSCS activities, remember that they're composed of a variety of different files. We've been looking at spreadsheets and forms, and these are, again, collaborative resources which can input data which can be accessed from the website. Again, we're using the Gmail accounts to control the access to it, unless we simply say that anyone with the link can edit. Now, we'd also like to see how you can put in other resources, for example, photo albums. Now, photo albums can be housed in many resources, but we're again choosing Picasa Web or Google Plus because it's associated with the same Gmail login as your website and all of your other Google resources. So it makes it nice and tidy. Frankly, it's probably not the best photo viewing program out there. There are some limitations to it, but the real advantage is that it links nicely to other resources, and you only need one login to get to it. So let's say we were looking at an activity like the chemistry activity. You may remember that we earlier showed the one where we're looking at the composition of biological molecules. Let me bring up that one right here. So here's the composition of biological molecules. So when you're on a website that has a slideshow, as this one does right here, you can see that it may run automatically, or you may be able to manually control the slides depending on how it's set up. But you'll notice in the lower right hand corner, if you move your cursor over the bottom bar here, you'll see a link to the Picasa Web album. So if I click on that, this will show me that there's actually a folder in my Picasa account that if I click on it, will have all of those pictures which made that slideshow. So here are the 17 pictures that compose that slideshow. Now, the simplest way to download them all so that you can actually own them yourself and you're no longer dependent upon the person you're getting the pictures from is to download to Picasa. So Picasa is a software that runs on your PC that indexes all of the JPEGs and the PNGs, in other words, the graphics files on your computer, and it will download these into a specific folder on your computer. Now, we don't have the time to introduce that, so we're going to introduce the slow technique, which is just to manually download. So if you were to click on a picture here and say I'd like to own that, right click, and you could say save the image as, and then we've created a folder here on our desktop, which will pop up in a moment, and on in that folder we can now accommodate all of the individual pictures from that account. So there it is. I've created a folder called biological molecules, and now into that folder we can save DNA as well as the rest of them, and so we can go through them and find the ones that we want to save, and then right click on those images and download. So again, right click. If you wanted to save diatoms, you'd right click, say save the image as, and then specify the location. Now, once all your files are in that location, you can then upload them, and we're going to illustrate that process right now so that when you go into your own Picasa account, Picasa Web account I should say, which you can simply get to by typing in here picasaweb.google.com. It'll show you all of your existing folders, and so you can see I have quite a few accounts here. If I show all my albums, there's really quite a few different albums, and they all have specific purposes. The nice thing to remember is that each individual album can become a slideshow if you so desire. So in this case, I'm going to create a new album, so I'm just going to upload, and now I can go and I can search for those files, which happen to reside right here, or I can drag them These are the ones we just downloaded. I can drag them right into this location. Once you do so, you will see that the pictures that were once here on your desktop are now being uploaded into the cloud. They're going to be in your Picasa Web album. So all of these pictures here are ones that we extracted from that slideshow. And so I'm just going to call this Biological Molecules 2. And then we can all access these in a web page simply by referencing this album. Okay, so that album's now been created. And now if we went to a website where we wanted to install that, let's say that we were over here on our chemistry page, and we were looking for the biological molecules page right here. So if I wanted to insert a slideshow similar to this, I could do so now in my own album, not in the originator's album. So it looks like it's, let's say this is yours, and you want to create a new page, so we can create a new page. And then good organization says to always put the new page under the existing page for that particular activity. So if I put it under composition of biological molecules, it'll be easily located, and then I can go to that page and insert either individual slides or the entire album in that page. So here we are, and I can say, okay, let's go ahead and edit this and say insert, then go over to your drive, and your drive has, of course, all these individual documents. If you have a particular image that you want to insert, you could copy the URL there, or you can go right to this one and say, I'd like to put the entire album in. So let's say we want to put the entire album in. The one we just created here is biomolecules, so I'm going to select that, and when I save it, then this album is going to have those pictures, and they're going to play automatically based upon the parameters that I set up. So now there it's saved. We can see that there's the individual pictures, and if I wanted to change the size of this or change other features of it, it would just simply be editing that option, clicking on the graphic, and then going to the gear. The gear is always how you make changes. And so in this case, I'm just going to increase the size of this to, let's say, 600. And I'm going to turn off the border and turn off the title. And you'll see that it quickly reflects the changes. And now we have the photo album. All of those pictures are going to be showing here automatically. And like before, there'll be a link, but the link now will go to the photo album in your account rather than to the originator of the CSCS activity. Now, you can also reference specific images from your album. So let's say we wanted to put this picture of kind of an artist's rendition of the double helix of DNA. When you're at this point, I can right-click on this and say copy this image address. And then by putting it in the page right here, I can use that former link right here and say insert, and insert the image. And so I'm going to put the web address of that particular picture. If it's correct, you'll see it appear right there. And then you simply can put alt text here, and that's again for the visually impaired or for slow computers that may take a while for the image to show up. You'll at least know, have some heads up as to what that is. So now notice the difference between these, that up here we have the slideshow because we decided to insert the entire slideshow. It's taking a while to load, it appears, but there it is. And then down beneath this is an individual graphic. Again, you shouldn't have quite the delay that I had right there, but that's because I'm doing some fancy recording and so forth at the same time. Okay, so what we've done there is we have started off with an original photo album. We've copied the pictures from those photo albums down to our hard drive, put them into a folder, went into our own Picasa Web photo album, and then uploaded them there, and then linked them either corporately as a slideshow or individually by their URL. Now, if you don't have access to a photo album, as in the mitosis activity, you can still download individual photos. So here, if you recall, was 6 views of cells, or I should say 6 views of the onion root tip that shows cells in various stages of mitosis. So these have all been sized to fit into that page, but if I open them up, I'm going to get the original size. Then I can right click and I could say save image as. And now these ones can be put into whatever folder you so desire. So we're going to just open up the same folder here, and we can see that we can put this into the biological molecules, although it would make more sense to make one with mitosis. But just for argument's sake, we can put this here, and then once it's in that molecules folder, then we could do whatever we want to it in terms of uploading, because it's now resident on the hard drive of this individual computer. So hopefully that gives you a way to both copy pictures out of an album that you can get access to, or individual photos that happen to reside in a website simply by right-clicking and then downloading them to your location, and then upload them to your Picasa album.